really good.
So is the format you're just gonna
Yeah, we're
ask
just
questions,
gonna,
have
we're
a
just gonna-
conversation?
yeah, we're just going to talk like we
Cool.
did earlier.
All right.
So we'll start with the easy stuff. First of all, give me your first and last name. Spell it correctly because we will screw it up.
Okay.
And then your title.
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right. So my name is Nate Salpeter. It's Natesalpeter, and I am the co-founder of Sweet Farm along with my wife Anna Sweet.
Well, first of all, why don't you just kind of fill me in what you do and how Sweet Farm came about?
Sure. So Sweet Farm is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are dedicated to promoting welfare for the largest population of underrepresented animals in the world, which is animals in the food system.
Okay.
So we are promoting for their welfare through a combination of rescue, rehabilitation, education, and outreach. So what that means is, of course, we do have a lot of rescues on the farm that came from a variety of backgrounds, whether it's from factory farms, abandonment cases, animal control situations. So we have a whole lot of different rescues, and each one of them has their own unique story to help educate people on why they really should care about how these animals are treated. All of them have very unique personalities. They're vastly or incredibly smart, and a lot of people don't realize that many of these animals behave much in the same way that your own dog or cat does. So once people come out and they actually see how these animals interact with each other as well as with people, they really come away wanting to make a sustainable impact in their own daily life. So we are really focused around helping educate people on how they can make their own impact. We focus on helping educate people on making those changes that they can carry through their entire life. Obviously, there's a variety of changes. Not everyone is going to go immediately from eating meat to vegetarian or veganism, but it's a process, and it's a very our mission is really focused around helping people make those incremental changes so they can lead more humane lives.
Animals, when people meet animals in person and they spend time with them, they realize they're just not some kind of inanimate object that is processed and they eat. And there's just a lot more ways that we can sustain ourselves as a culture, and we don't really need to, eat all these cattle and all these pigs and all these,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Industrialized.
We'd probably live longer and feel healthier if we did kind of work those things out of our diets.
Absolutely. There's a whole lot of research around the health benefits of going to exclusionary diets where you do cut out things like red meat and chicken and a lot of other components that are really mainstays in people's diets. And in addition to the health benefits, there's also huge environmental benefits to reducing the number of animals that are in the food system.
And methane gas,
It
the list goes on.
the list goes on. It's everything.
Groundwater.
It's groundwater contamination, methane gas release from cattle grazing, the amount of land use per pound of meat that's produced. There's a whole variety of reasons why people should really care about this, whether you're on the humane side or the environmental side. There's a lot of reasons to care about this.
All right, let me drag you back into why I'm here more. For today, there was some big fires up north. Everybody knows about them. A lot of people displaced, a lot of animals, a lot of loved ones. You ended up with quite a few of the animals from up north. Can you tell me about how that happened and what's available here in the future for people that find themselves in those situations where they can't keep their pigs or their chickens or their goats?
Absolutely. So, as soon as the fires started up north, we have a close relationship with Tracy Voigt from Charlie's Acres,
Okay.
She reached out to us because a lot of the other sanctuaries in her own network were also undergoing evacuations. Of course, we're much further south, so we said absolutely, you go ahead and plan on heading on down. So we jumped into action, putting up emergency support shelters. And the purpose of these shelters are to help support the offset animals from Charlie's Acres, as well as other animals as the recovery efforts from these fires continue. It's going to be a long rebuilding process. So there's going to continue to be animals that are offset as evacuation shelters are shut down. But in addition to that, for future disasters, our emergency support shelters that we have here will be able to continue to support offset animals throughout the years.
Do you say I got displaced and my farm burnt down up north, and then I brought my animals down here, or I lost some animals and I relocated, and then I wanted to maybe adopt a few animals. Could I go through an adoption process with you and maybe adopt a pig or adopt a goat?
Right. So there are a whole lot of animals in need, and certainly the adoption process, as animals come in, it's ideal that we can find forever homes where they can live out the rest of their lives as companion animals. Because we are a 12.5-acre farm. We're set up as an education farm, and obviously there's billions of animals in the food system, and there's thousands of animals displaced by the fires. So with limited space, the ideal situation is, of course, we can help handle that capacity as the needs arise. But then also, in the event of animals needing to find other forever homes, we work within our network, as well as putting out the call to our thousands of followers and supporters in the immediate area to hopefully find them a forever home.
Tell me about some of the animals I can visit here, or I can see here, or some of the animals that you, as a whole, and then maybe some of the animals that you individually took in from the northern fires.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about them and their personalities and their names, if you like.
Sure.
But on a whole, if I come here with my son or my daughter and I want to educate them on farm life and farm animals and stuff, I can get together with one of you guys and you can take me around.
Yes, absolutely. So so we just had our last member day of the season as the rainy season comes in, but
it's not coming.
Right. But when visitors come out to the farm, we take them around, we show them, introduce them to a whole variety of animals that have come from a lot of different situations. We have 6 goats that came from everything from abandonment cases to dairy operations to live markets. We have sheep that came out of various agriculture programs. We have 2 steers. One was destined for slaughter. The other came out of the dairy industry. We have a llama that came here as part of a horse breeding operation, and basically the horses had passed away, so he joined us. What many people don't realize is that in South America, llamas actually are bred for meat as well. So it's interesting because it also falls within the mission of helping to educate people around animals in the food system. We also have 65 chickens. We have a whole host of ducks and swan goose as well. A lot of cases where people raise chickens either as part of hatching projects, but the surprise comes when half of the chickens that are born turn out to be roosters, and people can't keep those roosters in most of their locations. So we do
Very
get
territorial, the rooster.
extremely.
You
So
have maybe one rooster and a bunch of hens.
absolutely.
versus 5 roosters.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
you end up on a
Right.
Saturday night fight or something.
Yes, absolutely. So we do get about 10 to 12 calls per week with regards to roosters. Obviously, we cannot take those, that many roosters. We have a 10,000 square foot space dedicated just to the chickens.
Wow.
And among that space, we do have 5 roosters in distinct groups of hens. And we've found that if the ratio slips beyond that, then there becomes infighting, and which obviously that's not wouldn't be great. So so all of the roosters that we have here, they get along. There's no issues with them messing with one another.
Yeah, that's good.
And then from the recent fires, we also have a couple of pigs here on site with us today from Charlie's Acres.
Tell me about those guys or gals.
Sure. So Punky and Gertrude, they had been rescued by Charlie's Acres from their own specific situations. Gertrude actually, she was originally rescued from another wildfire that happened in Northern California, and so Charlie's Acres had taken them in. Punky, I believe, was from the animal testing program, and so they ended up joining Charlie's Acres. There are 3 more pigs that are on a neighboring property. We helped coordinate the efforts to actually get them set up on in their own exclusion area over there. In addition, they also came in with 5 chickens and a couple of ducks as well. So we helped coordinate, help get them space to have their animals live on while they get their barns and fencing back up and running, because they did sustain damage from those fires.
People need to reach out to you and get a hold of you. Can you tell me the process to do that, and how they qualify to actually bring an animal here?
So the best way, every animal situation is very unique. The best way is to reach out either through our website, which does have a form you can fill out, or to email us directly at info@sweetfarm.org.
Okay, what's your website address?
The website is www.sweetfarm.org.
Okay. Anything else that you got on your mind that I may have neglected to ask you in my ignorance on? I know a lot about everything, but not a lot about one thing. So you're the guy here. What am I missing?
So really, our mission is really focused around 2 components. It's on the animal side, but also helping to promote the biodiversity in the food system around the fruits and vegetables that we eat. So we're building up a very strong agriculture program to help provide a space where kids and adults alike can come out and learn about the exciting options that there are out there in the world. A lot of people go to a fancy grocery store, and you're still lucky if you can find more than 3 varieties of tomatoes. And the reality is there's just hundreds and hundreds readily available in the form of seed, but not necessarily out on the shelves or even at farmers markets. So we're doing a lot of exciting things on the ag side, and we've had a lot of people come out, and it really opens their eyes to the options. And the other wonderful thing is we get a lot of people interested in the agriculture program who may not have heard about some of the issues that we're bringing up on the animal side. So it opens up that positive communication channel, which exactly, and that's really what we're about, is opening up those communication channels with people that might not otherwise have heard about it or might otherwise shy away from those discussions. It's a wonderful opportunity to engage in those conversations.
Do you think it educates them on more what goes on between the farm and the table?
Yeah.
And how they can step in and go, you know what, I'm going to grow my own tomatoes, and guess what, I'm not going to put pesticides on them, And guess what? I can do that without bugs eating my tomatoes because there are ways. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've been running volunteer days where people come out and they do learn about things like saving seeds. They learn about sowing seeds in trays, as well as actually putting them in the ground. One of the interesting things is my wife Anna and I actually lived in downtown Seattle before we moved down here. And we had a really small rooftop, yet we were still growing corn and lemon cucumbers and eggplant, all sorts of varieties of eggplant on a teeny little patch. In addition to that, we had our own mason bees, and really we love to educate people around how even if you have just a sunny windowsill or a balcony or a rooftop, or maybe you actually have a yard or further, there are ways that you can reclaim parts of your own food stream in ways that don't involve pesticides. And so you mentioned how to prevent bugs from eating your tomatoes. So helping to educate people around some of the other plants that you can put beside them. Maybe you put nasturtiums next to your tomatoes because the aphids prefer those over the tomatoes. Sacrificial plants that if they don't get eaten themselves are still edible plants as well. So there's some win-win things that we love to educate people around.
All right, Nate. Good job, man.
Thank you.
Give me your name, rank, and serial number. Give me your give me your first and last name. Spell everything out, and then your title.
Okay.
And because I will mess it up later if you
Sure.
don't do it on camera. So
Okay.
go ahead.
My first name is Tracy, Tracy, and my last name is Vogt, V as in Victor, O, G as in George, T as in Tom. And I'm the founder of Charlie's Acres.
Charlie's Acres.
Yes.
Not Charlie's Angels.
Nope.
Just joking.
Yep.
Um,
It's always a mistake.
So tell me about how you got to know Nate, and tell me about what happened to you up north,
Yep.
and then how this situation down here is helping you, and probably in the future, if everything was switched
Yep.
and this was ground zero, maybe you could return the favor.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the plan.
Yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like a good future.
Yeah, I know,
relationship.
right?
Yeah.
So I got to know Nate and Anna through a mutual friend. It was last year, I believe. And we also went to the same farm animal care conference to learn about how to do all of this stuff. And they've been a great resource and kind of an inspiration for my farm that I started in 2016. It's called Charlie's Acres. And we're very similar to Sweet Farm in the sense that we're rescuing animals that may have been meant for slaughter or have been abused. Or even Gertrude, our big black pig, was in a wildfire that we rescued her from last year. So this is her second wildfire she's been in.
She's a pro.
Yeah, she knows how to do this now. Yeah. And then
So
we,
what happened up in Santa Rosa?
right,
You're up there?
or it was Sonoma for us.
Sonoma.
Yeah, so in the middle of the night, my caregivers who were on site in Sonoma actually woke up with the fire on their property. And they raced outside and filled the trailer up with our animals. We have 12 animals, so we had 5 pigs, 5 chickens, and 2 ducks. And they managed to get everybody on site as everybody was evacuating in the area and fire was like bearing down.
That's quite a to-do
Yeah.
On an average day, much less the fire.
Exactly, yeah, they were.
And you're in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and the animals we've been practicing loading them onto trailers and getting them in crates, but in a situation that's stressful, it's just a different story completely.
Yeah.
But they evacuated, they went down and sat in the Sonoma Square and called me. I was in San Francisco. And I was trying to find a place for the animals to go after the fires were burning on our property. And I was trying to reach out to my network in Sonoma and Napa, but I realized that everything was on fire and that the animals needed to get out of the area completely. So as soon as the roads were open and we were able to get out of Sonoma, I had reached out to Nate and Anna at Sweet Farm and had asked if we could bring our animals down here, and they made arrangements for us, and we drove them all through the city, through San Francisco, got them down to Half Moon Bay, and here we are.
Wow, that must have been a heck of
Yeah.
a ride.
Yeah, they weren't too happy, but
No casualties. Everybody made it.
everybody made it, so we're really excited about that.
Lost a few fingers and toes, but that's all right.
Yeah.
What would you, if you could look at the fires as a whole, as you know, together as one? You're just one person. I mean, there must have been a lot of animals displaced.
There was a ton of animals, and so most of them went to evacuation centers around the counties. And we had both Nate and Anna and I had started a GoFundMe to raise money to bring supplies to those animals. So we actually were able to bring quite a bit of supplies to the Solano County Fairgrounds, where we delivered to the animals that were evacuated there. And we still have some supplies we're going to be delivering to other animals as well.
If give me your information if people want to get a hold of you,
Mm-hmm.
if they want to make donations of food or
So
take care of an animal, adopt an animal, bring in an animal, how do they get a hold of you?
they can reach me at my email, which is Tracy, Tracy, at charliesacres.org, or they could follow us on Facebook at our Charlie's Acres page, or on our website, which is just www.charliesacres.org.
All right.
All right.
And I'll ask the same question I asked him. What did I miss? What do you want to say about this whole experience?
I think the really interesting part of the story is just that the community came together. You know, Anna and Nate came together for us, but also up in Sonoma and Napa, everybody was really working together to save the animals and to work to save people too. So I think that was a really interesting part of this.
Animals matter too.
Exactly.
Animals are people too. That's
Yeah, I know.
That's what my wife and always says. Well, good job.
Yeah, that'd be a good shot.
So this one's Gertie.
That's Gertrude. She's the one
Gertrude.
that's been in the wildfire already. This is her second one.
Poor baby.
Hi, sweet. Hey, dirty party.
No, you're part of this. Get in there. Well, so what?
The pumpkin, then I can do that as well.
For these guys. All right, go ahead.
All right.
Hey guys.
You said ready?
Yes, sir. It's also a soccer ball. Come on, turn around now. I'm getting all butts. Oh, that's awesome. It's soccer lunch. Boy,
It's like a toy.
comes with exercise. Uh-oh. Come on now, you gotta share. Which reminds me. I want my own pumpkin.
Yeah, or we can actually probably, yeah, we can throw this already broken one.
Hi, sweetie. What's your name?
This is Argyle.
Hi, Argyle.
Argyle came from an organic dairy operation in Northern California.
Huh? I claim this gravel pile.
With the chickens on the compost in the back.
Gizmo.
Hey, Gizmo. Cosmo. Here, buddy. This is a great place to stand.
So where you just were is muddy,
Yep.
but here with the road base and stuff, you can get it.
Right.
You can do better.
Yeah, we can move animals
Move
and
food.
people and food. And,
Yeah.
yep.
This is the
Exactly.
service corridor.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into all this stuff. Like just like these, the little fine stuff we do.
Is it muddy?
Yeah, right.
Fine king lemon.
Oh yeah.
Come on, I dare you to knock me off this one.
Yeah. Sturgis is 34 years old. He actually came from a neighboring farm. Yeah. Yeah. His mother.
You guys have a good relationship with
Which animals are in need in the situation.
So you have quite a network of you guys talking.
Yeah. I think it's time for some treats. Always time for some treats.
Oh, yes.
So they have 10,000 square feet here of space. The baseball bat. You have some of the brightest minds in the world, and they come out here and introduce them to our steer. Many different reasons why we don't get milk from our steer. And then it opens up the opportunity for us to talk about why there's things such as the veal industry. In order for these animals to be given milk, they have to constantly be giving birth.
I didn't know that. Forcing an animal to give birth so it gives milk. And then
It's interesting because it looks like ringworm. It's presenting itself. It's really important that that the farm is being built up in a way that it's sustainable, so that we can continue and spreading the mission, for the next 30, 40, 100 years. We'd like Sweet Farm to be around 100 years from now.